Growing up, when it came to the Easter season, there were two traditions her family held sacred: going to church that Sunday, then visiting the local circus. Roland's Ring seemed to come around just at that time every spring, when the cold weather was leaving, and they could finally get outside without fear of allergies. And for a child searching for adventure, the lure of what the carnival could offer was too great to pass up, especially because of the fact that it was free. Maddie's favorite part was the magic show. There was this clown who doubled as a trickster named Charlie, who had the most amazing sleight of hand. Even at the age of 11, she still couldn't figure out how he did it. Each time he came on stage, he had his trusty sidekick, a dark-furred rabbit that he named Umbra. The way the show always ended was another highlight. Charlie would make Umbra disappear in a mist and then reappear without more than a wave of his hand. Sadly, though, despite how amazing Charlie the Clown was, not everyone appreciated his and Umbra's tricks. There were actually quite a few kids who came along and threw their litter at him whenever he tried to perform.
No wonder he stays here all the time. What a freak,
Maeve would say. Maddie stood up to defend the clown, but then realized that the kids that were chastising him were ones she recognized from school.
Maddie Lawson, why am I not surprised?
One of the boys sneered.
You need to apologize,
she said with a stutter. Bradley Schultz laughed and jeered with his friends.
Or you'll what?
Maddie nervously shuffled at her feet, and they laughed at her again before running out of the carnival. She kept staring down at the trash and drink they had tossed when Charlie's shadow came over her like a comforting shroud.
That was a very brave thing you did, Maddie, he said.
It wasn't right, what they were doing,
she said timidly.
Some people don't appreciate the world,
he admitted as he helped her clean off. Once done, he gave Maddie a smile and said,
You know, eventually kids like that get what's coming to them, Maddie. There's no need to be worrying over something so small as what they think of you.
But when I go to school on Monday, they'll just make fun of me again,
she whined, trying not to cry again. He frowned, clearly upset at this, and then he suddenly seemed to have an idea.
Maybe I can help you with your problem, he suggested before gesturing to his pet rabbit to hop over.
What do you mean?
She asked.
What if I told you I could make those bad things in your life go away? He said as he pet the bunny's ears.
That would be fantastic,
she said and then paused and asked.
But how would you do that?
Magic, my dear, pure and simple, is the easiest thing in the world once you master at it. It can make your wishes come true, and Umbra here, he can help,
the clown told her. She stared at the bunny, a little confused about what he was talking about.
You see, my dear, Umbra is the real deal. Treat him right, and then he will sort of latch on to you. Use his magic for your benefit, the clown said.
He coaxed the rabbit towards her with a baby carrot, whistling softly as he hopped along.
I want you to take Umbra home with you tonight and tell him your deepest secrets. And if your heart is pure, guess what happens? He will grant you a wish, Charlie told me.
Oh, I couldn't possibly. Wouldn't he miss you?
Maddie asked meekly. The clown laughed.
Umbra will always come back to me when I need him, he reassured her.
She took the rabbit into her arms, feeling his little heart beat rapidly as she rubbed his neck gently and smiled.
Thank you,
Maddie told the clown. She didn't want to be rude and say no, but her first concern was her parents. She knew Dad couldn't stand having animals inside the house. But surprisingly, when she got back to the car, her dad didn't say a word. That whole ride home, she has kept Umbra close to her chest and said a prayer that her dad wouldn't flip his wig. At home, her dad told her to wash up for supper, and she let out a long sigh of relief.
What's up with you? You act like you got a secret to spill,
her older brother Jack asked.
Can you help me feed him?
Maddie asked, setting Umbra down on the bed.
Feed who?
Jack countered.
Oh, sorry. This is Umbra. He's a rabbit I got from a friend at the carnival,
she said, gesturing to the black bunny. Jack popped some gum and stared at the bed for a second.
This some kind of new game, Maddie? Aren't you a little old for imaginary friends?
He sneered.
What? You mean you can't see him?
She asked, realizing that it had to be the reason her dad was so calm.
See who? Look, I don't have time for this. Whatever secret you're hiding, I'll find it out eventually. Always do.
He muttered as he went downstairs, pushing her out of the way as he did. She turned to look at the rabbit again, too stunned for words to comprehend what was happening.
really are magic.
Maddie exclaimed excitedly. Over the next 7 hours, she did what she could to make Umbra happy by feeding him and keeping his fur clean. The more she did, the warmer and more friendly he became. That night, after she got into bed, Maddie lost instead of prayer to God that Umbra's magic would work.
Please, please get rid of all the bullies.
She repeated. She looked towards Umbra, who seemed to be listening to her, and she said the request one more time, straight towards the bunny. His ears wiggled. There was a sharp rush of air in the room. Somehow, something felt different. And Monday, she found out exactly what. Maddie walked into school expecting to find those bullies ready to pounce on her. But instead, throughout the day, no one bothered her. They didn't even show up. It wasn't until third bell that Maddie decided to muster up the courage and find out for certain if it was really magic that had kept the bullies away or just mere coincidence.
Miss Hamilton, did Bradley get sick today?
She asked her English teacher. It was one of the few classes where she always sat next to the bully, so when someone took his desk, Maddie wondered if something had happened.
Bradley?
The teacher repeated.
Bradley Schultz, the boy with the curls.
She repeated. Miss Hamilton had a puzzled look on her face.
Maddie, are you feeling all right? There isn't any student here by that name.
She said softly. The girl's throat felt dry, and her eyes widened. She slumped into her chair, not daring to say a word as she tried to grasp what had happened. On the way home, Maddie took a longer route to go by Bradley's house just to be sure. It was gone. Bradley Schultz no longer existed. She raced to her room, nervous and frightened to get answers from the rabbit.
What did you do that for? I didn't want him gone. I'm not a murderer. I'm a good person.
The rabbit, of course, did not reply, but Jack did.
Why are you screaming so loud? I'm trying to nap.
He muttered.
Sorry, I'm confused.
Maddie admitted.
You got that right. In here shouting at the wallpaper? Dad's gonna think you're possessed or something.
He growled as he sat up.
No, you don't understand. I met this clown, see, and...
But instead of listening, Jack pushed her down, making her scalp hit the back of the headboard and laughing at her.
I don't have time for your baby games. Later, squirt.
Made her so mad. She rubbed the bruise he had given her and looked towards Umbra. The rabbit wiggled his ears again.
Oh, no. No. I'm not thinking anything bad about Jack. I like my brother. In fact, I love him.
She stammered, hoping that the bunny didn't somehow read the bad thoughts about her brother.
Please don't take Jack away.
She did everything in her power to push the bad thoughts aside. Maddie cried and cried all night to keep her brother from being wished away. But it was too late. She had no idea how powerful Umbra was until the morning Jack was gone. No longer did she have a bunk bed or a cramped room. No longer did she have to share a dresser. Her brother was gone, and it made her heart hurt.
Why didn't you listen to me?
Maddie screamed to the rabbit. Umbra didn't answer, and of course, her parents didn't even remember Jack at all. She realized that she needed to get back to the carnival. Charlie would have an answer, Maddie thought. So the next day before school, she got up early and told her father she was going to walk to school. Maddie took a shortcut to find the circus, but it was too late. They had pulled up stakes and moved on to the next town. With as much strength as she could muster, Maddie Lawson returned home and lied about feeling sick. She didn't want to go to school anymore at all. She was too worried about thinking badly about any of her real friends. What if Umbra took them away too? What about Mom and Dad? Suddenly, she realized the magic the bunny had could easily take them all from her life. So for the next year, Maddie was careful. She knew that if she waited until Easter again, that the circus would return and she would find Charlie. She was on her best behavior and worked hard to be nice to everyone she met. She didn't want anyone to be wished away. But near the end of March, she couldn't help herself. Her dad forgot her birthday, made her so mad. She did the best she could to try and not think of how mad she was. But Umbra was always listening. By the time she had thought of it, the rabbit was already working his magic. By the next morning, her father was gone.
I hate you. I wish I'd never gotten you. Why can't you just leave me alone?
She screamed to the rabbit. The bunny wiggled its ears, and by next morning, he too was gone. It wasn't over even then, though. She had hoped that with his departure, her family and friends would come back. But for the next 2 weeks before Easter, it was a lonely and confusing existence with her mom, the only one not touched by the magic. Maddie didn't know what to do, but she was determined to do anything to get back the people she had lost. Easter came soon, and she ran as fast as she could to find Charlie. Maddie needed answers. He was there as usual, performing his magic show, but the rabbit was nowhere in sight. The crowd cheered and dispersed, but Maddie stayed behind.
Well, hello, little girl. How can I help you today? The clown asked.
You don't remember me?
She asked.
I'm not sure. Should I?
Charlie asked. Maddie looked around trying to find the rabbit, wondering if there was more of his magic.
I want to make things right. I lost everything and everyone, and I would do anything to get them back. Please, can you help me?
Maddie asked the clown desperately.
It sounds like you've had a stroke of bad luck by making bad choices, the clown admitted as he stroked his chin.
I thought I was better off not facing my fears, but I was wrong,
she admitted.
Sounds like you learned how to be brave.
But I lost everything by doing that. Can we please change everything back to the way it was?
Maddie asked.
Are you sure? Magic is quite powerful, and if you reverse it sometimes there can be dire consequences, the clown said.
Maddie Lawson was braver now, so she responded.
It wouldn't be right unless we set matters straight.
Very well.
Charlie waved and made a sleight of hand, the same that he always did when he used to make Umbra disappear. Then there was a soft pop, and the circus was quiet and empty again. A boy ran into the tent, hearing the noise and stuttering.
What was that, mister?
What's your name, boy? The clown asked.
Bradley Schultz.
From behind Charlie, 2 ears perked up and a black bunny hopped out to greet Bradley.
Why, I was just practicing some magic, my dear boy. Why don't you take a seat?
Charlie the clown smiled as he pet his rabbit and added in a less friendly tone,
The show is about to begin.
Black Bunny, written by Color Blindness, narrated by Corey Dawson, featuring Sinister Sweetheart.